When Mary of Magdala arrived at Jesus' tomb on Easter Day, I imagine she arrived feeling a lot of grief. Not only was her friend and the one she proclaimed as Lord dead, but his body was missing. Imagine witnessing the murder of someone you love and finding their body missing the next day. Mary Magdalene must have been distraught over this great loss. I think for most of us, Easter Day begins with a sense of joy and hope. Spring is dawning, maybe not in Massachusetts, but somewhere, and we can put the sorrow of Good Friday behind, which I think we're usually excited to do, knowing that the Lord is risen and that God has been faithful to God's promises. This joy is beautiful and this hope is life-giving. But I would urge that in our Easter joy, we can't forget the sorrow of Mary Magdalene on the very first Easter morning. Jesus has defeated death, but we still await the promises of the coming kingdom. The pain of the cross, the loss of the cross, the injustice of a cross is alive and well in the lives of many. Those who suffer from injustice, oppression, mental illness, hunger, homelessness, exclusion, lost, and the list unfortunately goes on. They do not escape their pain on Easter Day. Our hope is not in a God who frees us from suffering. Our hope is in Jesus, who suffers with us, who on the cross knows deeply the pain of those still waiting for a more just and better life on earth. We, as an Easter people, therefore, cannot leave the cross behind. We must bring it with us as we live in the joy of the resurrection. Easter is not our ticket out of a suffering world. Rather, the resurrection is the hope we need to go deep into the suffering of the world, to tend to it ceaselessly with the love of Christ. And as we act as Christ's hands and feet in the world, we must remember that even in the resurrection, Christ's hands are still scarred. Mary Magdalene reminds us that sorrow and mourning have a place on Easter Day. Let her be our reminder to join our Easter hope with the suffering of the world so we can continue to serve the risen Christ.